My girlfriend's friends convinced her I'm cheating with zero evidence. She dumped me. So when she found out the truth, I was already dating her former best friend, and now she's fuming. All right, Reddit, strap in. Because this story is absolutely wild. And honestly, I'm still processing how everything went down. This happened over the past 6 months and just reached its peak last week when my ex lost her absolute mind. Grab your popcorn, because this one's got everything. Toxic friends, zero trust, calculated moves, and the sweetest karma I've ever witnessed. I'm 28, work as a software engineer for a tech startup here in Austin. Decent salary, own my condo, drive a paid-off Tacoma, hit the gym regularly. Pretty standard millennial life. Was dating my girlfriend, let's call her Madison, for 2.5 years. Met her through mutual friends at a rooftop bar. She was funny, smart, worked in marketing, and we just clicked. For the first year and a half, everything was genuinely great. We'd do the typical couple stuff, weekend trips to Fredericksburg, trying new BBQ joints around Austin, binge-watching shows together while ordering way too much Thai food. She'd come over after work. We'd cook dinner together, blast music while doing dishes. Just normal relationship things. I actually thought I'd found someone solid, you know? Someone I could see a real future with. Madison was the type who'd surprise me with coffee on my rough mornings, who'd laugh at my terrible jokes, who'd wear my hoodies and never give them back. We had this running joke about who could find the weirdest taco place in Austin, and we'd literally drive an hour to try some hole-in-the-wall spot we found on Yelp. Those were good times. Simple times. Then her friends started getting more involved. And by friends, I specifically mean this toxic trio, Vanessa, Claire, and Becca. These three have been besties with Madison since college, and let me tell you, they're the walking embodiment of every red flag you can imagine. Vanessa's been divorced twice by 27, Claire cycles through boyfriends like they're disposable, and Becca hasn't had a relationship last longer than 3 months in the 5 years Madison's known her. But here's the thing, they all act like relationship experts. They're constantly posting on social media about knowing your worth and never settling, and all this pseudo-empowerment nonsense that's really just code for sabotage any healthy relationship your friends have so you're all single together. Vanessa works as a life coach, which is basically code for unemployed but active on Instagram. She charges $200 an hour to tell women their boyfriends are trash. Claire's in real estate and uses her open houses to meet men, then complains when they don't work out. Becca's a bartender who thinks every guy who tips well is hitting on her. Real winners. All of them. The shift started around month 18 of our relationship. Madison began spending way more time with these three. Girls' nights went from once a month to twice a week, then 3 times a week. Then suddenly she was having lunch with them every single day. She'd come home from hanging with them and suddenly question things that had never been issues before. "Why do you still have your ex's number?" she asked one night out of nowhere. I'd explained multiple times that my ex and I had been friends before we dated, stayed cordial after, and barely talked. Maybe a happy birthday text once a year. Never bothered Madison before. Vanessa says guys only keep their ex's numbers if they want a backup plan, she continued. Oh, so Vanessa says. Cool. That became the theme of every argument from that point forward. Vanessa says this. Claire thinks that. Becca mentioned the other thing. It was like I wasn't dating Madison anymore. I was dating her and her 3 toxic bridesmaids from hell. I started noticing other changes too. Madison would check my phone when I was in the shower. She'd ask why I was smiling at my screen. She'd get weird if I mentioned a female coworker by name. One time I said, Sarah from accounting helped me with that expense report. And Madison spent 20 minutes interrogating me about Sarah. Who is she? How old is she? Is she pretty? Do you have lunch with her? Sarah's 55, happily married with 3 kids, and looks like someone's grandmother. But sure, Madison, I'm having a torrid affair with her. My buddy Tyler, who I've known since college, kept warning me. Bro, those friends are poison, he'd say during our gym sessions. They're gonna mess with her head until she sabotages something good, because that's what misery loves. Company. Tyler's not wrong about these things. Dude's got a 6th sense about people. He called my ex before Madison being crazy, 6 months before she proved him right. He predicted my former roommate would steal from me 3 weeks before it happened. The man's like a prophet, but for relationship red flags. But I figured Madison was smart enough to see through their BS eventually. I mean, she had a master's degree in communications. Surely she could communicate her way out of their manipulation, right? Wrong. So freaking wrong. The real problem started in January this year. I picked up a new project at work that had me putting in extra hours. Nothing crazy. maybe staying until 7 or 8 p.m. instead of my usual 6 p.m. a few nights a week. It was a major client acquisition, good for my career, and Madison knew about it. She'd even said she was proud of me for getting selected for the team. The project was for this big retail chain looking to overhaul their entire inventory management system. High visibility, lots of pressure, but potentially a huge win for our company. My boss had specifically requested me because of work I'd done on a similar project the year before. It was a career maker opportunity. But apparently, during one of their girls' nights, the toxic trio planted a seed. Madison came home that night around 11 p.m. She'd been at Vanessa's apartment for over 5 hours and asked, "Are you sure you're actually working late? Or are you doing something else?" I just stared at her. "What are you talking about? You literally know about this project. I showed you the email from my boss. I've been texting you updates throughout the day. Claire says men use work as an excuse all the time to cover affairs," she said, completely serious. She said her ex did that exact same thing. Claire's been cheated on by literally every guy she's dated because she picks trash, I shot back. Maybe she's projecting her terrible taste in men onto everyone else's relationships. That didn't go over well. Madison got defensive about her friends, and we had our first real fight. She accused me of being dismissive of her concerns. I pointed out that her concerns were based on paranoid ramblings from women who couldn't maintain relationships if their lives depended on it. It went downhill from there. But I figured it would blow over. It didn't. Over the next 2 months, the accusations kept coming, each one more ridiculous than the last. I was working late. I must be cheating. I went to the gym. I must be meeting someone there. I grabbed lunch with a female coworker to discuss project logistics. Clearly, I was having an emotional affair. I stopped at H-E-B on the way home for groceries. Who was I really shopping for? One particularly insane night, Madison accused me of cheating because I came home with a different brand of deodorant. Not because she found it suspicious, no, because Becca told her that men only change their grooming habits when they're trying to impress someone new. I'd bought a different brand because H-E-B was out of my usual one. That's it. That's the whole story. But according to Becca's galaxy brain logic, this was evidence of infidelity. The crazy part? Madison never actually caught me doing anything suspicious. Never saw texts she couldn't see. I literally gave her my phone passcode on day 1 of dating. Never smelled perfume on me. Never found evidence of anything because there wasn't any evidence to find. I wasn't cheating. Not even close. I was literally just living my normal life while her friends poisoned her against me. Tyler told me I needed to set boundaries. Tell her it's them or you, man. This is getting out of hand. She's literally accusing you of changing deodorant brands as evidence of an affair. That's not normal. That's insane. But here's the thing. I'm not the kind of guy who gives ultimatums. I believe in trust. If you don't trust me, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I thought eventually Madison would realize her friends were full of shit and we'd get back to normal. I tried everything else, though. I invited Madison to come to my office to see my workspace, meet my team, understand what I was actually doing. She declined. I offered to add her on my work calendar so she could see every meeting I had. She said that was too much. I suggested we do couples counseling to work through her trust issues. She said I was making her out to be the problem. So basically, she wanted to keep accusing me, but didn't want to do anything that might actually prove she was wrong. Cool. Very healthy. Then March happened. The nuclear option. I was at my place, working from home on a Friday afternoon. Had a video call scheduled with some clients in California, so I was posted up at my desk in my home office. Madison had a key to my place, and she'd occasionally come over when I was working if she got off early. She walks in around 3 p.m., and I hear her go to the kitchen. I'm in the middle of this call, sharing my screen, going through data analytics with the California team. We're discussing quarterly projections, reviewing implementation timelines, the usual corporate stuff. About 20 minutes later, I wrap up the call and go to say hi. Madison's sitting on my couch with her phone in her hand, and she's got this look on her face. Not sad, not angry. It's this weird mix of smug and vindicated, like she just won a prize on a game show. "Hey babe, didn't know you were coming over," I say, going in for a kiss. She pulls back. "Don't touch me." I froze. "What's wrong?" "I know everything," she says, crossing her arms. "I literally just saw the proof with my own eyes." "Proof of what?" I'm genuinely confused at this point. "You've been cheating on me." With her. She points at my closed office door with this dramatic flair like she's on a reality TV show. I'm standing there trying to figure out what the hell she's talking about. "Madison, I was literally just on a work call. You can check my calendar. You can check my email. You can check my Slack messages. What are you even saying right now?" I saw her, Jackson! She's getting louder now. Don't gaslight me. I saw her on your computer screen when I walked past your office door. You had a one-on-one video call with another woman. It takes me a second to process what she's saying. Then it clicks. During my video call, one of the clients, Melissa from the California office, had her camera on. We'd been reviewing slides. That's it. That's literally it. That was a work call with our California team, I explained slowly, trying to stay calm. Melissa's our client liaison. There were 4 other people on that call. My boss, Dave, Sarah from accounting, Tim from sales, and Jordan from IT. You can literally check my meeting recording if you want. Or I can call Dave right now and have him explain the entire meeting to you. Why would you have a one-on-one video call with another woman if you weren't cheating? She demanded, completely ignoring everything I just said. It wasn't one-on-one. There were 5 other people on that call. And even if it was one-on-one, that's called a job, Madison. People have video calls with coworkers of all genders. That's how remote work works. That's how business works. That's how modern employment works. But she wasn't hearing it. She'd already decided in her head what was happening. I could see it in her eyes. The conviction, the certainty. Nothing I said would matter because she'd already written the story. I later found out she'd immediately texted the toxic trio when she saw Melissa on my screen, and they'd all convinced her this was the smoking gun they'd been waiting for. Group chat was probably going crazy. I knew it. Men are all the same. Leave him ASAP. Vanessa says if a man is defensive about other women, he's definitely cheating, Madison stated, like she was reading from a script. Vanessa's a twice-divorced 27-year-old who thinks every man is cheating because she married 2 assholes who actually were cheating. I'm not being defensive. I'm telling you facts. That was a work call, with multiple people, about a project you know I'm working on because I've been telling you about it for 3 months. I don't believe you, she said, and there it was. The trust was gone. After 2.5 years together, after never giving her a single legitimate reason to doubt me, her friends had successfully convinced her I was cheating based on absolutely nothing. So what do you want me to do? I asked, feeling my patience running out. Show you the meeting recording? Call my boss right now? Forward you the meeting invite? Give you access to my work email? What evidence do you need to believe me? I don't need evidence, she said, standing up. I have enough. We're done. And just like that, she broke up with me. Didn't ask to see proof. Didn't want to hear anything else. Didn't want to verify a single thing. Just decided I was guilty based on seeing a woman's face on my computer screen during a work call and walked out. She didn't even let me finish explaining. Just grabbed her jacket, grabbed her purse, and headed for the door. Madison, wait, I started. Don't, she cut me off. I can't believe I wasted 2.5 years on you. Vanessa was right. Claire was right. They all warned me and I didn't listen. She slammed the door so hard my neighbor's dog started barking. I sat on my couch for a solid 10 minutes, trying to process what just happened. Then I called Tyler. She dumped me, I said when he answered. What? Why? She saw a woman on my work video call and decided I was cheating. You're freaking kidding me. I wish I was, bro. I really wish I was. So let me get this straight. You had a work call with multiple people, and she saw one female face and that's it? That's the evidence? That's the evidence. Bro, those friends finally did it. They convinced her you're cheating with literally 0 evidence. What are you gonna do? That's when something in me shifted. I realized I'd spent 2.5 years with someone who, in the end, believed her toxic friends over me. Over the guy who'd never given her a single real reason to doubt him. Over the man who'd been nothing but honest and loyal the entire relationship. I'm gonna do exactly what she thinks I was already doing, I said. Move on with my life. Tyler laughed. Now we're talking. Freak her and her toxic-ass friends. You dodged a bullet, man. A psycho bullet. He was right, and I was done playing defense for something I didn't do. The next few weeks were honestly pretty liberating. I blocked Madison on everything. Phone, social media, email, Venmo. Went full no contact. Changed my Netflix password so she couldn't use my account anymore. Some people would have tried to win her back or prove their innocence. But here's the thing. I don't beg. I don't chase people who don't trust me. If you think I'm cheating with 0 evidence, you're not worth my time or energy. I threw myself into work, hit the gym harder, started going out more with Tyler and the boys. We'd hit up bars on 6th Street, go to Longhorns games, catch fights at Buffalo Wild Wings, just enjoy life. It felt good to not be constantly defending myself against phantom accusations. It felt good to grab lunch with a female coworker without having to document it. It felt good to work late without getting 20 paranoid texts. My project at work wrapped up successfully and I got a fat bonus. My boss praised my dedication. Meanwhile, Madison was probably at home with her toxic friends, celebrating the fact that they'd successfully destroyed another healthy relationship. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember how I said Madison had 3 toxic friends? Well, there was actually a 4th member of their college friend group who distanced herself from the toxic trio over the years. Sophie. Sophie and Madison had been roommates freshman year of college before Sophie transferred to UT Austin for their better engineering program. They'd stayed friends, but Sophie couldn't stand Vanessa, Claire, and Becca, called them energy vampires, and only hung out with Madison one-on-one. I'd met Sophie a handful of times over the course of dating Madison. She was cool. Software engineer like me, actually. We'd had some good conversations about tech stuff at Madison's birthday party last year. She was working on machine learning algorithms while I was doing full-stack development, so we'd geeked out about code optimization and debugging strategies. But we'd never hung out outside of Madison-related events. About 3 weeks after the breakup, I'm at this craft brewery in downtown Austin with Tyler when I see Sophie sitting at the bar by herself, looking at her phone. "Isn't that Madison's friend?" Tyler asked. "Yep, Sophie. The one who actually has her shit together. You should go say hi, man." I grabbed my soda and walked over. "Hey, Sophie, didn't expect to see you here." She looked up and smiled. "Jackson! Hey, I'm just waiting for my food to go. How are you?" "I'm good. Can't complain. You?" She hesitated. "Honestly, I've been better. Madison told me what happened and I don't even know what to say. It's so stupid." I raised an eyebrow. "She told you her version?" "Yeah, the whole thing about you cheating with someone from work." Sophie did air quotes with her fingers. "Which is insane because anyone who knows you for 5 seconds knows you're not that guy. Plus, I actually understand how remote work functions. Unlike Madison, apparently." "Well, apparently Madison doesn't know me as well as I thought she did." Sophie shook her head. "It's not Madison. It's those other 3. They've been in her ear for months, Jackson. Maybe even longer." I tried to tell her she was being ridiculous, but she wouldn't listen. Vanessa literally told her that all men cheat and it's just a matter of catching them. "Sounds about right," I said. "Misery loves company, and those 3 are absolutely miserable with their own lives. Trust me, I know. That's why I don't hang out with them anymore." Haven't in over a year. Sophie's food order arrived. "Hey, are you here alone or—" "Nah, I'm with my buddy Tyler over there. We're just grabbing some sodas, shooting the shit." "Cool. Well, it was good seeing you. Seriously, Madison's an idiot for letting you go over nothing." Something about the way she said it made me pause. "You want to join us? We're probably going to be here for another hour or so. Maybe grab some wings." Sophie looked surprised, then smiled. "You know what? Yeah. Let me grab my food and I'll come sit with you guys." And that's how it started. Not planned, not calculated. Just 2 people who'd both been dealing with Madison's drama, having a soda, and venting about shared experiences. Tyler immediately liked Sophie. "Finally, someone from Madison's circle with a brain," he said, which made Sophie laugh so hard she almost spit out her soda. We ended up closing down the brewery that night, just talking about work, life, relationships, everything. Sophie told us about her own breakup from a few months prior. Dude had been actually cheating on her with a coworker, ironically enough. She'd found messages, confronted him with evidence, caught them together. He still tried to gaslight her. She dumped him immediately and never looked back. "That's the difference between real cheating and what Madison accused you of," Sophie said. "When someone's actually cheating, there's evidence. Messages that don't add up. Weird behavior changes. Lies that contradict. Deleted texts. Secret phones. You had none of that. You had a work video call with your entire team." "Tell Madison that," I muttered. "I tried. Multiple times. She won't listen. Those 3 have fully convinced her you're the villain in this story. They've probably got her thinking you're out here living your best cheating life." We exchanged numbers that night. Not in a romantic way. Just as friends who understood what it was like to deal with Madison's world and toxic influences. We started texting regularly. Nothing inappropriate, just memes about bad code, work stories, funny tech fails. She'd send me videos of cats knocking things off tables. I'd send her articles about new JavaScript frameworks. Then Tyler had a party at his place about a month after the breakup. He told me to invite whoever I wanted, so I invited Sophie. She showed up in jeans and a Longhorns t-shirt, holding a 6-pack of local soda, and just fit right in with my friend group. She didn't create drama, didn't play games, didn't need to be the center of attention. Just vibed. "I like her," Tyler told me later that night, while we were grabbing more ice from his garage. "She's real. Not playing games, not creating drama, Just a solid person who actually has her life together. Yeah, she's cool, I agreed. You know what I'm about to say? Don't. I'm saying it. You should date her. I shook my head. That's Madison's friend. That's asking for drama I don't need right now. Madison dumped you for seeing a woman on a work call. Freak Madison's opinion about anything. Plus, Sophie barely even talks to her anymore. They haven't hung out in like a year. He had a point. But I wasn't trying to date anyone yet. I was enjoying being single, not defending myself constantly, actually having peace and freedom. But over the next few weeks, Sophie and I hung out more. She came to a Longhorns game with us, had a blast, knew all the plays, trash-talked opposing fans. We grabbed lunch a few times to talk about a coding project she was working on for her company. She invited me to a tech meetup she was speaking at about women in engineering. It was all very natural, very easy. No pressure, no expectations. The moment I realized I liked her was when she was at my place helping me debug some code for a personal project I was working on, a fitness tracking app I'd been building in my spare time. We'd been at it for hours, my living room table covered in laptops and energy drinks, when she suddenly figured out the issue that had been plaguing me for days. "You're a genius!" I yelled, probably waking up my neighbors. She laughed, did a little victory dance around my living room, then looked at me with this huge smile. "We make a good team." And something clicked. This woman was smart, funny, drama-free, and actually trusted me. She never questioned where I was or who I was with. She never made me feel like I had to prove my innocence for existing. She just trusted me. What a freaking concept. I asked her out officially 2 weeks later. Took her to this nice Italian place downtown, the kind with the candles that cost more than my truck payment. Made it clear this wasn't just hanging out. This was a date. A real, actual date. "I was wondering when you'd ask," she said, smiling over her glass. "You could have asked me," I pointed out. "I could have, but I wanted you to be sure. I know this might be complicated with Madison, and I didn't want you to feel pressured." I shook my head. Madison made her choice. She chose to believe her toxic friends over me. That's on her. You and I, we're both adults. We both like each other. That's not complicated at all. We kept it quiet at first, not because we were ashamed or sneaking around, but because we wanted to build something real before the inevitable drama tsunami hit. We'd been officially dating for about 6 weeks, keeping it off social media, not making a big announcement, when Madison found out. It happened at this tech networking event that both Sophie and Madison attended. Sophie didn't know Madison would be there. Madison hadn't been to these events in over a year, had stopped caring about professional development. But there she was, and according to Sophie, the moment Madison saw her, she beelined over with this fake enthusiasm. "Oh my God, Sophie! I haven't seen you in forever!" Madison hugged her like they were still close friends. "How have you been?" "I've been really good, actually," Sophie said, trying to be polite. "We need to catch up. I have so much to tell you about Jackson and everything that happened. Can you believe he was—" "Stop," Sophie interrupted. "I know what happened. Jackson told me his side. The actual truth." Madison looked confused. "Wait, when did you talk to Jackson?" "We've been talking for a while now. Actually, we're dating." Sophie told me Madison's face went through about 5 different emotions in 3 seconds. Shock, confusion, anger, betrayal, rage, and then this weird fake calm that didn't reach her eyes. "You're dating my ex-boyfriend?" "I'm dating a guy you dumped for seeing a woman on a work video call. Yeah," Sophie corrected. "A work video call that you refused to let him explain, because your friends convinced you he was cheating with 0 actual evidence. Are you serious right now? You're supposed to be my friend. I am your friend, Madison. That's why I tried to tell you months ago that you were being ridiculous. But you wouldn't listen. You chose Vanessa, Claire, and Becca over common sense and reality. Jackson and I connected after you dumped him. And honestly, he's a great guy. A guy who never cheated on you, by the way. A guy who was nothing but loyal and honest with you for 2.5 years. That's when Vanessa apparently materialized from nowhere, like a toxic genie summoned from a bottle. Because of course she did. Sophie, what the freak? Vanessa jumped in, getting in Sophie's face. You can't date your friend's ex. That's like Girl Code 101. That's betrayal. Vanessa, you've been divorced twice before 30 and have given Madison terrible advice for years that destroyed a good relationship. I don't think I'll be taking relationship guidance from you or anyone else in your little misery club. I wish I could have seen Vanessa's face when Sophie said that. According to Sophie, Vanessa looked like she'd been physically slapped across the face. Madison started crying. Right there in the middle of this networking event, full waterworks. How could you do this to me? You know how much he hurt me. You know what I went through. He didn't hurt you, Sophie said firmly, not backing down. He had a work video call. You hurt yourself by listening to your toxic friends instead of trusting the man you supposedly loved. Jackson never cheated, never lied, never gave you any real reason not to trust him. And now, he's with someone who actually does trust him because I'm not surrounded by bitter women telling me every man is trash. That's not my fault or his fault. That's yours and yours alone. Madison left the event in tears, and within an hour, my phone, which still had her blocked, started getting calls from random numbers I didn't recognize. I didn't answer any of them. Then Tyler started getting texts from Madison's friends calling me every name in the book. Manipulator, predator, narcissist, gaslighter, the whole vocabulary of buzzwords. Bro, your ex is losing her shit, Tyler said, showing me his phone. Vanessa's calling you a manipulator. Claire says you're a predator who groomed Sophie. Becca's saying you planned this from the beginning. They've completely lost their freaking minds. Let them think what they want, I said, not even stressed about it. I know the truth. Sophie knows the truth. You know the truth. That's all that matters to me. But the drama didn't stop there. Madison started posting cryptic shit on social media about snakes in the grass, and fake friends who stab you in the back, and people showing their true colors. Meanwhile, I'm over here living my best life with Sophie, hiking at Barton Creek on weekends, cooking dinner together, trying new breweries, actually having a healthy relationship based on trust and communication. Sophie and I went to a Longhorns game and posted a picture together. Nothing over the top, just us smiling at the stadium. Madison's friends started commenting immediately. Wow, with skull emojis. Interesting, with snake emojis. Some people have no shame. Real mature stuff. The breaking point came last week. I was at Sophie's apartment, and we were watching a movie when her doorbell rang. She looked at her Ring camera, and her face went pale. It's Madison. I looked at the camera feed on her phone. Sure enough, Madison was standing at Sophie's door, looking completely unhinged. Hair messy, makeup smeared, clearly been crying. She was swaying slightly like she'd been drinking. Don't answer it, I said. But Madison started yelling through the door. Sophie, I know you're in there. We need to talk about this. Sophie sighed and opened the door, but kept the chain lock on for safety. Madison, it's 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. What do you want? I want you to break up with him. Madison was hysterical now, her voice cracking. He's my ex-boyfriend. You can't just date him like nothing happened. It's wrong. It's betrayal. Madison, you dumped him months ago for no legitimate reason whatsoever. I had a reason. He was cheating on me. That's when I stood up and walked to the door so Madison could see me through the crack. Madison, I was never cheating. I was on a work video call with 4 other people, including my boss, Dave. You want me to call him right now at 10 p.m. and have him confirm it? I will. I have his number ready to go. Madison's face crumpled when she saw me. You're really with her? You're actually dating Sophie? Yeah, I am. And she's amazing. She trusts me. She doesn't accuse me of cheating every time I talk to a woman. She doesn't let her toxic friends poison her mind against me. Weird how much better a relationship works when it's built on trust instead of paranoia, right? This is so freaked up, Madison sobbed, actually sliding down the hallway wall like she was in a bad movie. You're dating my friend. How could you both do this to me? You mean your former friend who tried to tell you that you were making a huge mistake, but you wouldn't listen? That friend? The one you haven't actually hung out with in over a year? Sophie jumped in. Madison, go home. This is pathetic, and you're making a scene. You made a choice. You dumped a good guy because your miserable friends convinced you to. Don't take that out on us for moving forward with our lives. I want him back! Madison screamed. Like actually screamed it in the hallway of Sophie's apartment building, probably waking up half the floor. I made a mistake. I'm sorry, Jackson. Please, I'll do anything. I looked at her dead in the eyes with zero emotion. No. What? I said no. Absolutely not. Not happening. But you don't get to dump me, spend months telling everyone I'm a cheater, let your friends destroy my reputation, and then demand me back when you realize you were completely wrong. That's not how any of this works. But I love you. No, you don't. You love the idea of me, the version of me you created in your head with your toxic friends. But you never actually loved me because if you did, you would have trusted me. You would have looked at the evidence, or complete lack thereof. You would have chosen me over them. You would have let me explain instead of just assuming the worst. But you didn't. You chose them. So now I'm choosing me, and Sophie, and my own happiness for once. Sophie closed the door while Madison continued crying and yelling in the hallway. We could hear her screaming, "This isn't fair!" And you'll regret this. Building security had to come escort her out eventually. They actually threatened to call the cops if she came back. The next morning, Madison's parents called me. Her dad called me. I answered because I'd always liked her dad. He was a reasonable guy. Jackson, I don't know what the hell my daughter's problem is, he said, sounding exhausted. I heard the whole story. A work video call? That's what she dumped you for? Are you kidding me? Nope. That's exactly what happened. And now she's mad you're dating Sophie? Yep. Showed up at Sophie's apartment last night at 10 p.m. screaming and crying. Well, for what it's worth, I think she's an idiot. You were always good to her, Jackson. Never gave her a reason to doubt you. And those friends of hers are awful. My wife and I tried to tell her, but she wouldn't listen. I appreciate that, Mr. Hayes. Really. Sophie's a good girl. I remember meeting her at Madison's graduation. Smart, stable, has her life together. You picked a good one this time. Actually, you picked a good one both times, but this one trusts you. I think so too, sir. Take care of yourself, son. And tell Madison to leave you alone if she tries again. I'll talk to her, but I can't promise she'll listen. She never does anymore. That conversation meant more to me than Madison's dad probably realized. Madison's own father was on my side, calling her out for her behavior. The aftermath has been absolutely wild. Madison's made multiple attempts to contact me through burner phones. I recognize her voice immediately and hang up. Her mom tried to friend request Sophie on Facebook, probably to spy on us. The toxic trio started leaving one-star reviews on my company's Google page until HR got involved and threatened legal action for harassment. Claire actually tried to match with me on Bumble under a fake profile to expose me as a cheater. I recognized her in the photos and reported the fake account. Vanessa sent me a DM on LinkedIn of all places, calling me a predator. I forwarded it to HR and blocked her. But here's the thing. I don't care about any of it. For the first time in almost a year, I'm in a relationship where I'm not constantly defending myself, where my girlfriend doesn't question every work call, every gym session, every lunch with a coworker, every female name mentioned in conversation, where I'm trusted as the default instead of suspected as the default. Sophie and I have been together for 4 months now, and it's been incredible. We're moving in together next month, actually. Her lease is up, and my place is bigger. Tyler's stoked because Sophie's best friend from grad school is single and apparently into guys who lift, so he's already planning double dates. This is what a healthy relationship looks like, Tyler told me last weekend while we were helping Sophie pack her apartment. No drama, no accusations, no toxic friends. Just two people who actually like and trust each other. Wild concept. Last I heard through the grapevine, Madison finally started therapy. Her therapist apparently told her that her friends were toxic influences, and she needed to work on her trust issues and setting boundaries. She's also still single, because shockingly, when you accuse people of cheating with no evidence, word gets around in the dating scene. Guys talk. Vanessa, Claire, and Becca are still single, still miserable, still posting pseudo-empowerment quotes on Instagram about queens and standards, while systematically tearing down any relationship around them. Some people never learn. They're probably already working on destroying someone else's healthy relationship. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.